Okay, so Callista and Leona, that's a fairly strong early game duo. Callista definitely gets significantly stronger as she goes, but if she plays it smart, you guys have a lot of strength early on as well, especially with her W. So let's see, is she starting? No, she started E, which is, that's okay, I guess. But I would definitely get W second for the all-in power. So right now, you want to be looking to shove this. So right now you want to be in the mix as much as you can, hitting these minions and doing damage to them because you want to pressure for level 2 first. With a range support like this, it's going to be tricky, so you do need to be careful. But kind of in the same sense, oops, as mid lane, you know, you don't want to give them respect and space they haven't earned.
Yeah.
So, okay, so in that scenario, let's go back and just look at this.
I don't know why. Right. The ward he placed took out my stun.
Yeah.
Pissed me off.
Yeah. Okay, so you're coming to lane and you're already a little bit late to lane because you stayed in leash for a really long time. So that's something to just be careful of. You know, when you are leashing, I don't know why he started blue instead of Cromp, but okay. So whatever. But he's when you are leashing, you know, don't give him more than a couple of hits because if you get to lane late, you potentially already set yourself up for a really tough lane. So especially with somebody who's going to be able to bully you and poke you like this. So this is a poke lane with Kennen, and you are an all-in support. So neither of you has any real sustain to fall back on. If you were like Sona or Soraka or something, then you could kind of just passively deal with their poke and not have to worry about it quite as much. But as Leona, you really need to establish an aggressive or an advantage early, because if you fall behind, all of Leona's tools are about going in, and if you can't go in because you're too behind, then you're pretty much useless for a long time. So you want to think ahead and try to get into lane and set it up as soon as possible. So then you come into lane. That was an opportunity to stun Kennen right there. And at that point, Callisto's already moved on and is doing something else, so it's not. So again, you guys are just kind of out of sync a little bit. When Kennen walks up to you right there, hit him with the stun right then, and let Callista hit him a couple of times, and then back off. But when you walk up into their wave like that and hit Ashe, that draws minion aggro, and Callista's not in range to follow up and do anything with you. So you end up just kind of taking poke from both of them potentially. Ashe ended up backing off. She probably didn't really need to there. But then again, you are already well, I guess right now you have an XP advantage because it's 4-3, but they're about to even that up because Callista backs off a bit and you back off a bit. You do want to be smart about how you go in and attack these minions, because you don't want to take free harass from these guys. And so if they're just going to bully you, then you might need to just back off and you might just need to concede and wait for them to make a mistake. But as much as you are able to do, get in there and help Callista knock these down, and be working with Callista too to make sure that you guys are aggressively pushing for that level 2 as much as is possible. Yeah, because again, backing off here, and there's no reason for her to be backing off here. There's nothing that either of them are going to do. You can hide behind minions to avoid Kennen's poke, and if he walks up to her, you just back off again, and same thing with Ashe. Okay, yeah, so I don't know. Were you using were you using auto attack, or I mean attack move or something?
No, it's it just auto attacks on its own.
Oh, okay.
I don't have that off.
Okay, so yeah, so that's unfortunate. But in this situation anyway, Callista's is not in position to follow you up. If you'd hit Kennen with it, I mean, They just hit level 2. So that's another thing. I'll back up a little bit again and talk about this, because this whole the first couple of minutes of a duo lane like this end up being really critical. So you're gonna hit as a duo lane, assuming you get to lane in time to get all the XP. So you're not so late that you miss like a minion or two entirely and miss the XP. Assuming you get to lane at the same time as the enemy duo, you are going to hit level 2 at after you clear the first wave, and then after the melee minions of the second wave go down. So it's 9 minions. I don't think it matters which 3 minions in the second wave you kill to get 9. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But if you kill the melee ones, I know you hit level 2 off of that. So anyway, you want to be looking for that for your own part, because as you guys ideally are pushing toward that level 2, you want to be, as you're closing on that last minion or two to hit level 2 on, and you can also try to save a couple of your relic stacks, or at least one of your relic stacks, so you can hit it a little sooner than maybe they're expecting. They're waiting for that minion to get really low, but you were able to take it out from about half health, and then suddenly you're level 2 and they're not ready for it. But Leona has a crazy powerful level 2, and with Callista's W, if she's able to level her W, that gives you both some extra damage if you're hitting the same target. So you have a pretty strong level 2. So you can be looking at it, and as you are getting close to level 2, as you are counting the minions, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So so you need to kill one more one of these caster minions and these 3 melee minions, and then you'll be at level 2. So you want to try to pressure those down as quickly as possible. And then as you are doing that, as you're about to hit level 2, you both need to be in position to immediately capitalize on that. Because as you hit level 2, you want to be prepping your fingers to level your E, your Zenith Blade, so that the second you hit that level 2, you are casting E onto whoever is most vulnerable, and Callista is right there ready to follow up as well. And not give them any chance to react and realize that you have a level advantage and back off. On the flip side of that coin, if you see that you are losing it and you are not able to hit level 2 first, and you're counting your minions and seeing where they're at, because you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so they're a minion ahead right now, they're going to kill these 2 pretty quickly, and then
they're getting level 2.
And they're going to get level 2. So at that point, you already need to be thinking, we're probably not going to be able to hit level 2 first. You need to back off a bit and back off into this position, because there's nothing you can do with just your stun once they're 2. And so you need to back off to here, because even best case scenario, if they don't go all in on you, they can both poke you here and you can't do anything about it to fight back. And so as you see that happening, just take a step back and play it a little safer. So that's fine right now. You're fine right now, but as this minion is going down, you're thinking, okay, we've already lost this now. I need to be backing off, because as soon as they hit 2, they're thinking aggressive, 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 and you.
I survived, but barely.
Yeah, you survived, but at this point, This is so the lane is honestly over now, because of where the position is. They can hold on to this and they can shove it into the turret, and you have to leave, and so you can't do anything about them shoving into the turret. Callista's low enough, and they have enough range and poke that they can bother her from being able to just focus on CS. And so this is already really hard. So you gotta go back to base, and you gotta be thinking. You got to be thinking, playing to not lose more than you already have at this point, and waiting for them to screw up. But yeah, at this point you do just need to go back, because you're really vulnerable to a kill. There's very unlikely, given how much health they have and the range that they have, that they're going to do anything stupid before you are able to get back into lane. And you're kind of just a free kill waiting to happen here, because of how low you are. Oh, and this should happen in base, ideally, because getting an opportunity to bond is, you don't always have that opportunity.
Yeah, I know. I hadn't noticed that he hadn't bonded until
so that's a little thing. But again, here you're walking up to him, and there's no scenario in which this works out in your favor. They have a level advantage, they have a range advantage. You're walking into a crowd of minions. They're healthier than you. They would have to be AFK for you to win that trade, and even then, they probably actually would still win it, because they would still be auto attacking you if they're AFK, and they have every single advantage in the book right now. So this is a situation where after you lose that level 2 race and they bully you out, you guys are just camping under your turret and waiting for the wave to push and picking up what you can under turret. And you're hunkering down and you're waiting for them to mess up because you've already lost and you can't force a play anymore. CSing under turret is 2 hits to a melee minion, 1-2 last hit. For casters, it's auto attack, turret hit, auto attack. And you can help your ADC with the casters, especially since her attack speed is probably not quite fast enough to auto attack a creep twice while the turret is attacking it by auto attacking it once. So if you see that you wait until the turret targets a caster minion, you auto attack it, and then she auto attacks it. Yeah, so if you guys can kind of work on that synergy too, that'll help. Yeah, and they're strong enough right now. This is risky for them, but not impossible. So that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, she's gonna flash though.
But even though they didn't really gain much from that, they were strong enough to do it in the first place, which is Kennen should have stayed. What was he thinking? Good. That was a good flash. Okay. Okay, so you got a pink ward and some more pots. That's probably okay. How much gold did you
I didn't
go
have
back?
much gold. I used all my gold.
Okay. Yeah, you probably didn't have very much. The pink ward is fine. Yeah, that's fine. I probably honestly would have opted to get a pink ward and a green ward and just stuck with like 2 or 3 potions. 5 potions. Yeah, 5 potions is... It's unlikely that you'll be in lane so long, and hopefully you're not taking so much poke that you actually need 5 potions. You'll be able to go back and get a couple of more, and the vision will probably end up being more important. Let's see, Diana is their jungler, yeah. Yeah. So the pink ward would be good to throw down in this bush, or probably honestly, given how things are going right now, in this bush, or maybe in this bush. Since they have all the pressure in the lane right now, throwing it in the river, it's probably just going to get killed because they're going to check this bush pretty commonly, and so you're not going to be able to defend it. So it's not going to last very long. So if you're going to get a pink ward, I would put it even more defensively back here to avoid a thing where Diana sneaks in and then jumps over the wall or something. Or put it on your blue buff so she's not invading on your Rengar. So it's more team vision than lane vision. Yeah. Or you could opt to get...
I ended up putting it either a dragon or I put it for the mid lane.
Or you could hang on to it for a dragon, for doing dragon. That's valid as well. Okay, so that's a good engage.
Okay. I ended up using it in the bush after all.
Okay. Callista dashed the wrong way, which means you kind of got hung out to dry. What button did I hit? That? There. Okay, let's look at that again real quick. Okay, so you throw it in here, which honestly this is probably not a great...
Yeah, I know.
Given the way the game is going right now, either hold on to it so you can have vision control of an objective, or throw it down defensively. Or honestly, at this point in the game, it probably would be better just to grab 2 green wards, so that you don't have to worry so much about where you put it, because you want to have vision in here, and a pink ward is pretty vulnerable. Okay, so Kennen face checks, so that's good. So open with your stun though. You don't need to.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna face check. I just threw it when I saw him come.
Yeah. So. Yeah, even then, he's walked up close enough that you can anticipate this, and you can walk out with your stun up and just hit him with it. And if he does turn around, then E. You know, if he does turn around and walks out of your stun range, then you can use your E. But at this point, you've got a free stun, and you can actually position yourself ahead of him. So you stun him, and you input to walk over here. You input to walk over here, auto attack, then he comes out of it and he starts walking, and you walk a little bit more and auto attack, and then he probably uses his speed demon ability and he starts to move, and then as he starts getting in your range, then you use your E and lock him down again. And the whole time, you've got your W up, and so that it's going to pop in the midst of it all. So that's good. So you position pretty well there, partially because your E pushes you on the other side of him. But that's the right idea. But yeah, you'd want to have your E up as he's dashing away to lock him down so that your W doesn't miss. For some reason, Callista dashed backwards. I don't know why. You guys had all the advantages there. That was the right thing to do. So Callista dashes backwards, which means now she's out of range and she can't do anything. She's out of rend range and she's out of auto attack range, and you're stuck.
Yeah,
so
she should have dashed forward.
She should have dashed forward because not only is she out of attack range, but she's out of just threat range in general. So Ashe has no fear about just sitting here and auto attacking you. All she has to do is kite backwards, and Callista won't be able to get in range, and you're in range the entire time. So you're going to take a buttload of damage because Callista stepped out of threat range. So she managed to get back into range, and then Ashe kind of messes up, but still you took so much damage that now you have to leave.
Yeah.
This is okay, so Callista picks up the kill, and you trade kills. But now she's going to die because Diana showed up.
She's going to die to Diana.
Yeah. So what she should have done as soon as Diana showed up is just ducked into the jungle here and try to run up that way. You just, you got to read the situation. You died to Diana. There's no way she's getting home this way. So at least try to survive by running into the jungle. Or suicide if Kennen didn't hit her. But better to just run up into the jungle. She probably would have lived.
After a little while, we start getting more in sync, and the game turns around.
Good.
It's really cool.
Okay, good.
And that's kind of the purpose of the games we're playing together. But
yeah.
He hasn't been on since this game, so we haven't been able to play another one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so now you guys have enough. I think you have vision. Well, you have people that are there. So you see him grouping for dragon. So you need to be moving toward dragon at this point because this is where you are more important right now, and especially since you know that Kennen is here. Worst case scenario, or you have vision on Ashe too. So you know that Callista can come here and she can see us a little bit, but you don't need to be there to support her to do that. The turret's there, and since there's a shenanigans developing here, you want to be making your way to be here to support that.
And never mind what I just said on getting synced in. I just realized who else is on this game. This was our first or second game together.
Oh,
we
okay.
don't get synced in at all.
Okay.
After this game, like, I was thinking of how we could get better sync, and
sure.
I decided that we needed just to sit down and talk about playstyles and everything.
Sure.
And that's what we did, and it was a totally different game. I thought it was that one. I guess I didn't put it to record.
Good.
I don't know. I'll have it. I probably have it on in Spotlight, so I can show it to you some other time.
Okay. So let's watch this next few seconds or watch this scenario happen again here, and then tell me what you think you could have done better. So there's a fight happening here. Rengar backs off. You guys don't have any vision here. So what should you be thinking right now?
They're gonna come down.
Yeah, well, it's either they're either gonna take dragon, which means that you have a few seconds potentially to maybe push the lane and try to punish. Or, yeah, there could be 4 people heading down. You can see Echo now that he's walked back up into this ward, but you don't know where Diana is, and you don't know where Ashe is, and you don't know where Kennen is. For all you know, the 3 of them are heading down into here. So if that needs to affect your position. So if you are wanting to push and punish them for taking dragon as much as you're able, or at least CS while they're busy doing that, then you need to be in lane helping Callista push. You need to be using your W and your E to get your passive procs so that her auto attacks are doing more damage, and so this lane is getting pushed faster. If you're able to clear this wave, then these minions make it to this turret before reinforcements arrive, and so at least they're losing CS while they're taking dragon. So you need to be pushing this. The other thing that you probably should be doing, you're thinking, okay, they might be taking dragon or they might be coming to kill us. So I'm going to W and walk past here and hit those minions so that it does damage and lights them up with my passive, and I'm going to throw a ward in this bush. And so then you know whether they're coming or not, and that lets you make the decision of what you want to do. You don't want to walk past this position regardless, because by the time you finish clearing this wave, you know, dragon's going to be almost dead, and then they could come booking in, and if you're down here, then you're dead regardless of what happens. But that lets you know whether you're safe to continue pushing this wave, or if you need to back off and keep playing conservative. So either be shoving, or actually both. You need to be thinking shove and vision, because you don't know what these guys are doing. You need to know what these guys are doing in order to know what you need to do next. So right now you just kind of come up here and you're sitting, which isn't helping your ADC. It's not helping you push the wave to do pressure. That was kind of a slow reaction. And then it puts you in a position where, again, you are out of position. And if they had positioned right and played that right, you could have got caught out a lot harder there than they actually did. Yeah. So they messed up, and you guys are actually able to kind of come out ahead on that trade, but it could have very easily gone the other way.
I just checked. I don't have the other game I wanted to show you.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, you know, if you guys play another one, we can look at that too.
Yeah.
Another thing to keep thinking about is that especially as Leona, it is very good. Using the brush like this is good because they don't know exactly where you are, and at any time you could be, you know, in position and waiting to use your E to jump on them, and so that is good to create pressure by being invisible. But you don't want to just sit there and let them forget about you either. And if they are, you always want to be trying to create pressure as a support, especially as an aggressive support like Leona. You're trying to create pressure to give your ADC room to do her job, which is last hitting and trading. And so using the brush like that is good. Stepping out of the brush and just letting them know that you're there, and making sure that you're using your skill shots really effectively, and only when your ADC will be able to follow up on them. So that, because the second you use your E and miss it, a lot of your pressure is gone, and then they don't have to respect your zone nearly as much. The zone around you that they have to respect is very small when your E is down. I'll see, and this is right here. You can, yeah, go on cannon. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Good. Okay. Good. You should have gone on him a little sooner. You might have been able to pick up Ashe, but that was good overall. Okay, Diana walks through a ward. And for some reason opts not to come in.
I don't even know why we went in there. I'm too low. Shouldn't be going in.
Well, you see Rengar coming, so that's fine. So that was good, actually. And what you could even try to do in that situation is honestly not even hide in the bush, because you see Rengar coming down, and so you know you've got a half health Diana, and you've got you, Callista, and Rengar. Between the three of you, you can easily kill her. And so even if she's just out of position, Rengar can probably solo her. And so you can even just kind of step out of the bush and look tasty. And as long as you are in a position where you can, if you have your flash is down, so you need to be a little careful. You try to be out of where she could automatically dash to you. So you don't want to be actually in her threat range, but be like just outside of it. So like standing like right here when she was in the bush. So she could potentially be right at the edge of this bush, and her E will go out to, you know, like here or so. So you stand like right here.
Yeah, like right behind where the minion is.
Yeah, and just look tasty, so that she's thinking, oh my gosh, this Leona is half health and this Callista's over here, and so I can, you know, if I'm really super clutch platinum player or diamond player that I know I am inside, I can jump on them and kill them. And the whole time you're thinking, I'm just standing here and looking vulnerable because I know Rengar is coming. And so you're just trying to get her to stick around and stay interested long enough for Rengar to come, and then you murder her. So in this situation, she kind of messed up, and you guys were actually able to kill her without Rengar. So that's fine too, obviously. But that's how you can you know, kind of think about those situations too when you see your jungler coming in.
Honestly, Echo carried this game, if I remember correctly.
Their Echo, I'm assuming?
No, our Echo.
Oh, okay, good.
He carried the game hard. which is also good because the one that's playing Echo is actually another one in the team.
Okay, so at this point, anytime you're kind of coming back into a situation like this, so you're finishing up the CS, you don't want to lose CS, but you also are looking for opportunities to try to really punish them, and so you want to keep an eye on your ADC item differentials. So I would honestly recommend that Callista rushing the Hurricane
is not that good.
Well, it is good.
Anymore.
I mean it's definitely a viable way to go. Just in this situation, especially with an aggressive support like Leona, I don't know.
The next game we play,
somebody that maybe knows a little more about the specifics and the real details of something like this might disagree with me. I guess I would probably opt to get some AD first, to grab a Bloodthirster or something first, so that you have just some raw power.
The next game we play, she got IE first.
Yeah.
Well, and but I was on a kind of one of the seminars in low coaching, and that they actually talked about Callista, and one of the things they said about Callista was that now it's not optimal anymore because of the change on her to get Hurricane first. It's better to get BT first and then Hurricane.
Yeah, that's my instinct as well, and so I would agree with that advice. Because otherwise right now you guys have an extremely powerful initiation combo. Callista ults you chuck yourself into these guys, knock them both up, ult immediately and lock them both down. Then you use your stun on Ashe, and then as she tries to get away, you E her, and by that time Callista has murdered her. And so, in theory at least, you guys have a crazy strong initiation. And so you want to be looking to maximize that. And if Callista has straight attack speed and Ashe has straight damage, you're really risking how successful that will be. Because if Callista can't burst Ashe down fast enough, she has her arrow and Kennen has his ult. And so they have a pretty strong CC combo as well. And it's probably going to come down... if you are not able to discourage them from initiating right back soon enough... So if Callista can't burst her down fast enough before they can get their combo off and then do damage to you right back, you kind of gimp your initiation, which is really what's so strong about this combo. Yeah, like that. I don't think Callista used... Oh, she did, I guess. Yeah, she did at the end. Yeah, so when you guys are playing Callista Leona or Callista anybody that has that's a kind of a tanky initiating support,
the ult is important.
Well, usually you want to open with the ult.
Yeah, her ult.
Yeah, her ult.
I know.
If,
this game it was really funny because a lot of times he would forget he had the ult up.
Oh yeah, well that's okay.
Because he's not used to Callista yet, and it was like, oh okay.
Yeah. So that's okay. The other option, because your ult is a little bit longer range and is less telegraphed, and so if you have a situation where you can throw your ult down to start things off, and then you can follow up with Callista ult, that definitely works too, because you can lock one or both of them down from longer range without giving as much warning, and then Callista chucks you into them as a follow up.
Yeah, because her is kind of obvious. Like, oh, all of a sudden, Leona's here.
Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Is she making a sandwich? Holy buckets. Okay, in this situation, this is not what you want to be doing either. Because the turret's down, and you guys are behind, and you farming this wave is...
not useful.
It's not... Well, yeah, it's not that you can't use the gold or whatever, but your pushing power is extremely slow. And if it stacks up right here, in theory, Callista's not sitting in base for an hour. And she's come back down and she gets the CS and she can farm it. And she can farm here pretty safely. You don't need to be with her here to farm. The only time you would stick around in a situation like this is if you weren't 6 yet, or if you just needed, if you needed something in particular, there was a good reason to stay here. So at this time, you're in a situation where Callista can stick around in bot lane pretty safely and farm alone, and you have an opportunity to now go roam and start impacting the map. So you can throw a ward down here so that Callista has some warning if they do try to sneak up and kill her. and then you
Okay.
can go mid and support your team here, or you can go
Okay.
wherever your team is. But you don't need to be here. Definitely not farming alone. Oh, she DC'd. Okay, so that sucks. But even if you guys are together, it's kind of pointless for you to be there because she doesn't need a support to just freeze a lane and farm. And yeah, no matter no matter what your items or whatever, you're never gonna win versus Kennen. So as soon as Kennen shows up, you just need to leave because he has range and you don't.
Yeah, I was
And
trying
so,
to leave. I couldn't make
yeah.
it.
So as soon as you even see him out of the at entering your vision, you just take off because that's just a needless risk. He might go in, he might not, but if he's smart, he will. So if you're smart, you won't give him the opportunity to even do that. Okay, so good. So you head straight for Dragon. That's good.
That didn't work out though.
It doesn't work out. That's unfortunate. Ideally, Rengar would have waited until you were closer to start things off. But that was the right instinct for you.
I don't think I make it out either.
No, it doesn't look like it. Callista ult. Oh, never mind.
I actually asked her to ult like 3 times.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So in this situation,
So when she ulted.
yeah. So in this situation, she either needs to ult you sooner, so that if you are gonna suicide, at least she's still alive to follow up. But in this situation, probably you just need coming back is you're just giving them a free kill because right now you are so low, you are almost one-shottable, and Callista is dueling with Ashe. And so, unless you feel pretty confident that you can...
I was like, ult me, ult me,
yeah,
ult me.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If she ults you...
Yeah,
if she ults you right now, you're probably okay, except that Diana is here. I don't think you can see her, but she is here, and she's going to kill you both. Okay, so you did manage to kill Ashe, so at least you got a kill. But yeah, she either needed to ulted you sooner or you just needed to take off because you were too low to do much other than just die. Okay, so Rengar came back to the same spot and died again. But what you gonna do? This is fine, especially if you feel like you're in a position where you don't need to be going down and throwing wards down and stuff. You can be taking CS that a turret's gonna get, but you're not. Doesn't look like you're seeing this happening here either. Until now. So that was mostly Callista's mistake, but you can try to react to stuff like that a little sooner to discourage Ashe from just being able to completely free focus on Callista. And again, you pushing a lane this is almost never the right idea, just because you are not able to push it fast enough to do anything meaningful. And the time that you do this, they've taken mid. Even just you standing under turret discourages them from just being able to just freely take mid. You can slow it down a little bit, and if you're there, Rengar is more likely to come in sooner. And if Rengar comes, the two of you can probably at least take Ashe, especially if she's in turret range. So you want to be focusing more on protecting objectives than taking them when you're alone, and on getting vision, establishing vision. Anytime you don't have anything better to do, look at your vision game. Where can you go throw a ward down? If the enemy team has the momentum, throw it down in your jungle around the next objective that's likely to be contested. If you guys have momentum, throw it down in their jungle so that you can keep pressuring. So you are looking to protect objectives, set up fights,
I think I'm gonna die now.
and establish vision. Don't be so pessimistic. This looks positive. What was that ult? Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yep, we're both gonna die. We're both gonna die. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Arrow hits me. Diana comes in.
That's brutal. So that was just, yeah, that was just too greedy. If you could have killed Kennen in here, then that's great. But as soon as he gets, and if you could have, even if you could have killed him here, that's great. But the second he gets to here, he's made it. And you burned his flash and you burned his ult and whatever else you burned, and you have to count that as that's going to have to be victory enough. And you need to just cut your losses and head out, because the second you head into this area of the map, you're going to be very lucky if you get out unscathed.
No, even worse. Instead of going back into the jungle, we went back through lane.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember directly. I told you, I think I died here. Yeah, died.
Nice.
Here I messed up. There's a point I messed up Callisto. He ults me, but I didn't click it fast enough because I'm still not used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little disorienting if you're not used to it.
Yeah, because you have to right click instead of left click.
Yeah.
Like, I'm left clicking. It's like, why are you going in? Why
Oh
are you
yeah,
going in?
yeah. Okay, so you're doing the right thing here. You're standing in front of your ADC and you're using your CC to set her up, and she's kiting back and forth and doing damage. So you're playing this pretty well overall. It just looks like the enemy team in this situation just had enough of an advantage and enough ahead that
Motherfucking songs.
I guess it ends up being, well, Anivia died early, so 5 for 4 overall. So your role once you get past laning phase in team fights is to, you can, if you have a good situation to get a pick, you can be initiating. But usually you want to limit your initiations to using your ult, because if you use all of your abilities to get to the back line and lock somebody down, then this team has enough tools to dive right back through your team and kill your damage. And so you can use your ult to initiate if you see a situation to do so. But then you want to be looking to use the rest of your abilities and your positioning to protect your carries.
Yeah, it's a deal.
So,
I wasn't healing at all this game.
Well, you were doing a pretty good job in that last team fight, and that's the kind of thing you want to be doing. Is you want to be looking to peel and provide support for your damage rather than looking to be the #1 initiator and lockdown in fights. So in that situation, it's okay to be sticking around and just being a threat in their mind.
Shouldn't have gone in.
But what you wanted to do was not have gone in that first time, so that you weren't so low. Because then the second time you see your team coming, and then you can walk up and lock them down because you know your team is almost there. And if they go, oh my gosh, Leona's an idiot, she's walking into our range. What they don't know is that your team is right behind you, and you have all this CC, and so you can hold them down until until Anivia's in range. But because you had taken enough free harass before that, you were low enough that they could kill you before that could happen. So you want to just be really conservative and play back so that they know you're there, so that they can't, they don't just think this is free. But they're also unable to actually do any damage to you, so that you have enough health when the situation does arise to be effective. No, no, no. Don't do it. Resist the urge. Good old.
This is funny.
Oh, that was maybe less than ideal. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed. It's like,
Yeah.
I use Zenith Blade and I get ulted out
Yeah.
of it. Yes.
Yeah. And then again, that's just kind of a case of kind of tunneling because you really want to get that kill to make up for that. But you let him kite you into his team, so you gotta be able, you gotta recognize when you need to cut your losses, especially as a support.
I didn't even have my Q up, so I shouldn't have chased them because I used my Q as I played Zenith. But since I got ulted, by the time I got out of the ult, I didn't have the Q up anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, ideally he would have waited until Ken started running away to ult you, because you could use that to keep him from getting away.
This time it was a little bit better, but we got
so
screwed
yeah,
over.
so this is a situation where just because you can land a good combo,
We didn't have vision.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you should. Because, yeah, you have 0 vision control. You know that everything on the map is pressured. You know you don't have backup. All you have is Rengar. So it's 3 of you against potentially, you don't know how many could be here. And so, yeah, you don't have vision control. And so, yeah, you ult well, and then you use your combo well, and that's all well and good. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I saw, right after we went in, I went like, I knew that mistake. I was like, we shouldn't have gone in. There's no vision. We went into a 4v3 without knowing.
Yeah. So mechanically, that was a good play, but strategically, it was a mistake. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Why?
Like, it was well executed, but it wasn't executed at the right time.
Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty much over at this point.
No, we win the game.
I don't think you win this game.
I'm telling you, we win the game.
No, this is a loss. You did win another game with. You won a game later with Leona, but it wasn't this one.
Ah, then we opened the wrong game.
Well, this is your duo guy,
yeah,
right?
we opened. It's the only one that is recorded because the other one's there, but it's not recorded.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of good things to talk about, so I mean, this is fine.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, they're just so far ahead at this point.
Yeah, we lost this game badly. Too bad the other one's not recorded, man. And I don't have it on my skin replays either. I don't know what happened.
Oh. That's okay. I feel like there's probably a lot of things you guys can, especially in laning phase. If you guys can really sync up your laning phase, in lower elo, if you can win in laning phase, that often is enough to really carry you out of, to carry you through the rest of the game. Because people make enough mistakes in lane that if you can punish them, you can get a pretty sizable lead coming out of lane. And that'll throw people into tilt and throw their whole team into tilt potentially. And then you just will be able to brute force stuff through. And so there was quite a few things that I think you guys, maybe you guys have already improved on some of them already, but there's a lot of things to think about strategically in lane.
Yeah.
The big thing that you want to be thinking about as you go into a duo lane is you want to analyze what your win conditions are and what their win conditions are in lane. So you'll get a variety of different kinds of duos, and each one is a little bit different. But in general, you've got a hard engaged duo like you guys were, and you've got kind of a poke duo like they were, or you've got a sustained support like Sona or Soraka. So you've got so poke supports like Cannon or Nami who's also kind of sustain. or if you get like a mage support like Vel'Koz or Lux or something.
Or Annie.
Yeah, and Annie is more of an engaged support though. She can poke a little bit, but she's ends up being more engaged. You know, their whole play style is based around whittling you down to the point where you can't fight them. And you know, even though their all in isn't very strong, they've whittled you down so far that it doesn't matter. They can still kill you in an all in.
Yeah.
And so a poke duo is actually really strong versus an all in duo, because all in duos tend to not have a lot of sustain, and so they are able to poke you down, and there's not a lot you can do about it. And
yeah,
so
it's like if we engage before they poke us, we win. If they
right.
poke us before we engage, they win.
Right. So your win conditions in a lane like this is to establish an advantage early, and then keep your foot on their neck, and don't let up, because if you let up, then it gets right back into their advantage. You got to be careful you're not, you know, just forcing stuff and throwing, but you want to look to be aggressive as often as you possibly can. If it's another hard engage combo, then you just got to be really paying attention to what situations they are stronger than you in. If their ADC has more items, if they're at a level where, you know, certainly if they've hit level 6 or level 2 before you, all those kinds of different things where the minions are. So you gotta be paying more attention to the nuances of who's ahead and who's not. If it's a sustain combo, it kind of depends on who it is. But if that's where all ends can be pretty strong versus sustain, because if you are able to dive on them and you can burst them down before they're able to sustain out of your damage. So anyway, so there's kind of it's a little bit more rock paper scissory in the bot lane than it is in other lanes. So if you kind of trying to figure out what their win conditions are and what your win conditions are, then you can try to plan your laning strategy around that, whether you want to be aggressive or play conservative or wait for a certain point. Like level 6 for you guys is crazy strong, and level 2 for you guys is crazy strong. So you want to look to be aggressive at those points and hit those points before your enemy if possible, so on and so forth. And if you're able to do that successfully, that will carry you pretty far into the mid and late game. So.